we found that when songbirds or parrots or hummingbirds produce their learned vocalizations, we get areas of the brain that are activated, you just seen this one, in the forebrain, like here in the parrot, with these genes. So this is called MST, song nucleus of the basal ganglia. We gave it a different name in the songbird in case they're not related to each other. We called it area X. Likewise, this high vocal center here, and you can see a similar structure down here in the hummingbird. We call it the VLN nucleus. When they're listening to songs, you see gene activation in certain, what we call the back of the brain here, the caudal auditory areas, in the parrot and the hummingbird here, as well as in the songbird. But the areas that get activated with vocalizations don't show this gene expression. What we've done with this behavioral molecular mapping tool is to scan throughout the entire brain these areas of activation, these white areas here, and do a semi-3D reconstruction. So what you see here is the brains reconstructed with their activation areas and the bird family tree. And what we see is as follows. All species have the auditory activation areas. So the auditory pathway, I've color-coded in blue here. Whether you be a songbird, a parrot, or a hummingbird, or even a chicken or a pigeon. And so this auditory pathway is common across all these bird species. And so we argued that these three vocal learners have inherited this auditory pathway from a common ancestor. It's not something unique. But the vocal learners, they have exactly 7 brain areas that I've color-coded in red and yellow here that are active in the production of those learned vocalizations. And what's remarkable about them is that those 7, of those 7, 3 of them are in similar brain locations, color-coded in red here. These regions here make up that pathway in songbird that's responsible for imitating the vocalizations, whereas the ones I color-coded in yellow here are responsible for producing those vocalizations. And in songbirds, they're near the auditory pathway in blue here, and in hummingbirds or parrots, they are a little further away. So the question has been, is how did these 3 species evolve 7 brain structures independently from a common ancestor? Or there are really 3 hypotheses. One is there were multiple gains, I've highlighted here in the red dots, where each time vocal learning evolved, nature said this is the way you're going to do it. You have 7 brain structures, not 3, not 5, and so on. And that's quite remarkable. That says there's a constraint or a limited way in which you can evolve the brain pathways for this trait. Or maybe there was a common ancestor back here somewhere, or even further back in time, and there was at least 1, if not roughly 7 independent losses of the trait, saying that there was a common ancestor that had the ability to imitate, like Alex did, and all these other species lost these brain pathways, which is also quite remarkable. Or maybe everybody has it to various degrees, and what happened in these 3 groups is that it emerged or it advanced independently of a common ancestor. And here I just color-coded the text just to help you along to show you what is a vocal learning pathway, the vocal production learning pathway, and blue the auditory pathway.